So, day 7, the part of our trip where we're going back home to Brisbane, and this is the leg from Melbourne to Sydney. For most of this trip, Jemmz was driving, so I had a chance to take a bit of a rest in the passenger seat, but I drove out of town, and then pretty much at the first rest stop we swapped over and Jemmz drove the rest of the way. Good morning. Just did our first leg. Wasn't too much of a problem getting out of the city. It was a little bit busy, but by the time we had got out of Melbourne it was quite quiet. It's a nice little spot out here. Cute little view. So we're about an hour south of Wodonga, and we're going to probably pop in there and fill up the car and then get back on the road. But I was just a bit exhausted after waking up so early. So I jumped off early. Jemmz is going to drive to Wodonga, and then we'll be back on the road again. Just crossed the border into New South Wales, feeling a little bit more liberal.
Liberal?
Yeah.
Are we?
Don Perrier is a liberal.
Perrier, I don't know his actual name.
Don Pierre Water.
Dom, I don't want to wear a mask just like the rest of you.
We stopped at a dog on a tucker box out just past Wodonga, which apparently is a super popular place, but I don't know, it was the name that sold it for me and caused us to pull over. So what did you think of dog in a tucker box? Dog on a tucker box.
Say doggo.
Oh my god, look at that doggo.
Oh, big fluffy doggo. Oh. So many doggos here. Actually, there's only like 2, but... the place smells, but the place itself is quaint. It reminds me of all the little like rest stops in New Zealand. Oh, that dog is so fluffy. I want to go pat it.
And
I'm just hugging it.
they have a statue
Of a dog on a tucker box.
of a dog on a tucker box.
He balk.
Next up is Anime at Abbotsford, and then the hotel. On our way to Sydney, I was watching the time and I noticed that we'd have just enough time to get to Anime at Abbotsford before they shut at 5:30, so we'd be arriving at town at about 5ish. So I figured, why don't we just go there, spend half an hour there, and then go check into our hotel, which we didn't need to be there till 6 o'clock. Which Jemmz the whole way was saying, no, I don't want to go, it's just another anime store. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. The shopkeeper is what really makes Anime at Abbotsford important. And we get there and she's blown away with his dad jokes, so I really think it was worth it. And then on the way to the hotel she was saying, yep, okay, I understand why you wanted me to come. We checked into the hotel. It was quite interesting. It was a repurposed mansion that they had turned into a hotel, which is interesting because it's not really in the format for a hotel. So a lot of the rooms just sort of seem like our room especially seemed like it was just attached and was previously like a cupboard or something. It was a main bedroom and a bathroom attached, and the bathroom looked like a prison bathroom or a disabled bathroom, not like a hotel bathroom. Once we checked in, we dropped off our stuff and drove back into town. Now, this was probably a poor choice. There's probably plenty of other places in Sydney for us to go, but I made the choice to go to the CBD, pay a lot of money for parking, and have a mild walk. Monday night, everything's kind of shut in the city, so we're sort of running out of time, watching all the shops shut, and all the queues get longer and longer for the stuff that is still open. And then when we finally had dinner, we ended up going to Subway because it was just something quick and easy and cheap, so we didn't have to worry about it. We scoffed it down and drove back home, but not first before stopping in front of the Sydney Opera House. And looking at Jemmz in the passenger seat, I think it really did like sneak up on her. We're coming down the road, and then all of a sudden it gets revealed, and she's like, "Oh my god, I didn't expect it to be this big." So it was quite interesting. She also got to see the Sydney Harbour Bridge as well as the Opera House, and just in the distance you could make out Luna Park. So I think she's seen all of the sights that Sydney has to offer, so we never have to come back again. Which was good because the next day was for us to drive home. So it's day 8, the last day of our trip, and this is the part where we go from Sydney all the way back to Brisbane. So at the last leg, at the end of the Melbourne to Sydney leg, I left myself with 0 fuel left. So the first thing that we needed to do after we'd woken up and gotten ready was to put fuel in the car. There wasn't exactly that many petrol stations near the city, so I didn't want to like rush off to a 7-Eleven and find out that it was just a bodega rather than a petrol station. So we drove out of town with the last little bit of fuel we had and were sort of hoping that we'd come across one before too long. But Jemmz finally spotted a good one and we stopped in there. For the rest of the trip, we pretty much were non-stop all the way home. We got to sleep in quite late that day because there was no like late check-in time to get home, so we didn't have to worry about arriving too late. We pretty much drove all the way to Coffs Harbour in one sitting, and then when we got there it was time for us to fill up the car again. I missed a turn off and went like 10 kilometers up the road and then had to turn around and come all the way back. Though it did mean that we got to see the big banana twice, just, a highlight I guess. And then we finally fueled up the car and then got back on our way, where we were non-stop driving all the way to the Gold Coast, where our next stop was Carl's Jr. for dinner. Most of this leg we were swapping out, so I'd do an 1.5-hour stint and then Jemmz would swap in and do her 1.5 hours and then we'd swap back again. So we stopped probably fairly frequently, but more or less stopped, had a pee, jumped back in the car and got going again. Once we crossed the border and had our food at Carl's Jr., we pretty much just went straight home, and Mum and Dad came over and dropped off the cat, so we got to see Quentin before we went to bed, and that was sort of it. I'm dropping off the film that I shot over the holidays. I've got 3 rolls to process, so they should come back over the next couple of days. I'll do a quick video and sort of illustrate what each one is about when they come back. Alright, see ya next time.